What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex Yu, and you're watching episode 2 of my Ronin Filmmaking 101 web series. This is a web series where I share with you my knowledge on producing videos, and hopefully it can inspire you to do the same. In the last episode, I showed you how to get started with your YouTube channel. If you haven't already checked that out, be sure to do so, just because I can give you a better idea on how to optimize your channel to its full potential. Now that you've done that, let's get on with episode 2. And I'd like to call this episode Inspiration, just because I'd like to inspire you by sharing with you my journey as a video producer from the very beginning. My journey as a video producer started in high school. I was at my best friend's house and he held a VHS and he said to me, "Hey, you gotta check this out." And then he popped the VHS in the VCR, and what I saw changed my life. It was a home kung fu movie. It was a home kung fu movie that they made over the weekend with him and 2 other guys, and it was really well done, and it just blew my mind just because there was choreography in it, and it was shot with multiple angles, and I'd never seen anything like that in my life. From that moment on, I wanted to make home movies all the time, and I would come up with all kinds of different story ideas just so that it could be filmed on the following weekend, and then I would invite my friends and my friends' friends and my friends' friends' friends, and they would come up with their own story ideas, and my home movies would get bigger and bigger and bigger. But making home movies wasn't the only thing I did. I also enjoyed being behind the camera for all kinds of events and occasions, such as birthday parties, family gatherings, vacations, and even school projects. And I would always find out if we were allowed to make a video presentation for a school project, and if we were allowed to do so, I'd be the first one to say, "Let's make a video." At the time, I was editing videos with 2 VCRs, and if I wanted a musical soundtrack added to the video, I would have to plug in a CD player to the VCR. It was a long process, but it was the only process that I knew of. When I graduated from high school, I was trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. After much thought, I decided that I wanted to pursue a career in film production, and at the time, the only post-secondary institution that was offering a film program was Vancouver Film School. And there are 3 reasons why I couldn't get in. Reason number 1 is that my parents didn't believe it would lead to a prosperous career. Reason number 2 is that it was just too expensive. It was $15,000 for a 10-month introductory program which taught you the bare minimum knowledge in every aspect of film. And reason number 3, while Vancouver Film School does sound like a big name, I had heard that the students that graduated from there didn't do much with their certification or diploma. The only way you would get a job in the industry was about who you knew and what connections you made. The only other place that offered a film program was at UBC, but I wasn't smart enough to get into the University of British Columbia just because my grade point average was so low, so my backup plan was to get into the hospitality food industry, and I eventually ended up taking a 2-year program for hotel and restaurant management. The funny thing was that deep down inside, I always had the urge to make videos, even though I was enrolled in a hotel and restaurant management program. Whenever there was a presentation or a group project, I would always try to make a video presentation if that option was available. Eventually, a video that I had worked on caught the attention of one of my friends who was working for a major banking institution at the time, and he'd actually asked me to help him produce a video that would be presented in front of his colleagues and superiors. This was my first big video project, and it was a lot of fun to work on just because we were both movie buffs and we used our inspiration from action films to help make what would have been a boring video into something more fun and exciting. And keep in mind, this video was about banking and investments. Moving forward, I eventually started to experiment with music videos when I volunteered to hold the camcorder at one of my friend's wedding. I didn't think anything of it, I just enjoyed being behind the camera, and after that, I took all the footage from the wedding and made 3 music videos out of it, and I was really proud of it. So after that, I called up all my friends and asked which one of them had the biggest TV screen, just because I wanted to present my music video to my friends in a theater-like setting. And this was the beginning of something, because from that point on, I would get asked more and more if I could help out in filming my friends' weddings. I would always agree to it, even though I wasn't getting paid, just because it felt kind of cool to be a part of a production. The thing is that even though I was doing it for free, they would still give me a donation. The donation went from $100 to $200 to $250 and all the way up to $300. And that's when I knew I was onto something. I felt that this was my calling. I was not meant to work managing restaurants, even though I ended up working for the food service industry for 10 years. I was meant to be behind the camera. My career had come full circle. All these events, no matter what road I took, would lead me back to my passion, and that was making videos, and that is exactly what I'm doing now. Now let me tell you that doing something that is an art and turning it into a career is tough. you really need to take the time to prove yourself before you can really make it. When I say the arts, I mean anything from making music, making films, drawings, paintings, artwork, singing, dancing, and basically anything that is your own creation and a form of expressing yourself in a creative and artistic way. When I first started up my company, Ragin Productions, it wasn't all that great in terms of getting business. I would get a few calls here and there from friends who would want something done, but at a low cost, but which is fine because I was just starting out. But eventually you'll want to determine what your art is worth. When I was first starting out, my friends were my bread and butter. Doing something like this was tough for me, and at one point in time I had to keep another job just so that I could pursue video production on the side almost as a hobby until it can fully sustain itself. The bottom line is that you have to pay your dues, and that can take any amount of time depending on how much time you really put into it. I pretty much produced videos for free to a super low cost for a year and a half until I finally established myself as a professional videographer in the local market. For some, it could take less time than that. For others, it can take more. It really is up to you, but the one thing you gotta remember is that when you're first starting out, the opportunities might be few and far from each other, so that's why you gotta create your own opportunities. You have the tools and you have the vision, go make something out of it. Your camera's only gonna collect dust unless you start using it. To master your art, you have to practice it. Go out there and film something. Stop talking and thinking about the film you want to make and go out there and actually make it. And that's all I have to say for this video. And this concludes episode 2 of Ronin Filmmaking 101. You now know my background in video production. Now I want to know yours, and I have a question for you. And that is, what made you want to start making videos and what was your inspiration? You can let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to stay tuned for episode 3 of Ronin Filmmaking 101, where I share with you what kind of cameras I've used in the past. As always, if you enjoyed this video, show me some support by clicking that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, Ragin Productions, and also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Pro. My name is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching the second episode of Ronin Filmmaking 101. I'll see you next time. Peace.